Okay, hello, my friend. Hopefully that you are doing great. So in this lesson, I want to share you about global variable. Okay, so what is global variable? So basically, global variable is something that is existing in almost of all the scopes in your project. So in this context, I mean it will be existing in your test cases, scope, and test suite here. Even I didn't share you about this, but we have it existing in the test cases, test suite scope as well. And the reason why do we need something like global variable? So if you open the login correct redentor test case here, you can see we have a value. It's the URL that we want to navigate to open the page and test. And if you open the login with incorrect redentor test case, you can see we have another URL value here as well. And they are the same. But if you open the test iframe here, you can see we have a different URL, but basically we will use the base URL here slash iframe. So that means if your project, we have many environments, right? So we have development environment, staging environment, pre-production environment, something like that. And then you want to run your test cases against those environment for different purpose for integration test or regression test, smart test, something like that before you release the feature published, right? So in that situation, we need to use some global variable, and then we can have some profile. So when we select a correct profile, we can get the correct global variable, and then we can run the test cases against the variable. Okay. So where can I create, a global variable? So if you want to create a global variable, so you need to create under profile section here. And for example, I already have something like this, but let me try to delete it, and then I can do from beginnings for you. Let me try to close it as well. So basically, Catalan Studio have something like default profile here. If you double click to open it, you can see nothing inside. And because nothing inside, so that means we can add more if we want, but I don't want to do that. What I want to do that I will create a new execution profile here, and I will name it as Smart Test, enter. So inside the Smart Test, I want to add something like staging URL. So you can name anything that you want, but I will name it as staging URL. So I will input the value. So in this case, I will try to copy this one, and then I will put here, click outside, and then hit OK button. So you can see here, we can have a new variable staging URL with this value, and under the smart test profile, then after that, I hit the save for person here. So now how can we use the global variable? So if I try to open login incorrect credential here, and now what I want to do, I will try to select first, you need to select the profile. Okay, so if I expand here, and you can see, I will select the smart text here, right? So in this case, I don't want to switch something like that. So what I do, I will try to right click on Smart Test profile here, and I will set it as default execution profile. So this time, if you open login incorrect credential, so you can see the Smart Test profile is already selected by default. Try to open this one as well. You can see Smart Test profile is already selected by default. So if you want to try again, you can set back the default profile here, and then you can see, let me try to open this. It seems we need to close all of them before okay, let's try to open again. So something wrong here when we switch the default account. Okay, but like something like a bug from Catalan Studio, but it doesn't matter. So the purpose that when you set something like set as default execution profile here, so basically when you open a new test case, it will automatically select that profile for you to run, okay? So now, if I open the login incorrect credential, and what I want to do that I want to replace the static value here by using global variable. So if I double click here, and then you can see this is the value and the value type is string, right? What I want to do, I will select to something global variable, and here you can see it will automatically have a drop-down value here. So in this case, I will select the staging URL here, okay? And now I hit the OK button, right? So you can see here, navigate to URL global variable dot staging URL, okay? You hit the save all button here. So if you switch to the script mode here, you can see here, what we have is, where is it? Here. You can see navigate to URL, but it will be not the static URL anymore. It is global variable dot staging URL. So if you are using script mode here, so you can do global variable dot staging URL, okay? So now let me try to run this test case again with the smart test here to see whether it can navigate to the testing URL or not. Okay, so now the page is launching, and you can see we push navigate to the testing page correctly. Okay, so this is, let me try to check. This is the smart test. Login incorrect credential. Let me try to switch back to manual mode here because I think there's something wrong there. So you can see this global variable dot staging URL. We don't have anything like /login, but the test still running /login. So let me try to double check again. Not sure what is going on here. So this is the page. So hit on the OK button, save all, login incorrect credential. Let me try to select this one again. And this is the staging URL, right? Let me try to see whether this is raw URL, string, global variable here. Yeah, just hit on the OK button again, and now run the test script again. Okay, I guess why we can open the page /login. It's my bad. You can see on the step number 3 here, we click on form authentication link, and that's navigate us to the target page. Okay, so for example, if I open the test iframe here, so you can see we navigate to the URL, but this URL is, directly go to the iframe URL. So in the case that we don't want to do something like that, what I want to do that I will replace the global variable plus with the, the path to go to the iframe URL. So how can I do it? So now what you want to do that you can try to switch to the script mode here first, and then you can see this is the way we navigate to the URL here. So let me try to switch to smart test first, and then I will call global variable. Where is it? Global variable here dot staging URL, and now I will plus with the /iframe, and then I hit the save button. So if you come back to the manual mod here, you can see, you open it. You can see the raw URL, the params type is string, the value type is now not global variable anymore. You can see it's a binary type. And if you double click on this one, you can see the left expression is global variable. The operator is the plus sign here, and the right expression is a string as /iframe. So this is the case if you want to do in the manual mode. Okay, so if you do in manual mode, you don't select the global variable here, but you select the binary value type. And after that, the left expression you will assign for staging. You see here, value type global variable and value is the staging. And the operator is the plus sign, and then you can plus with the string /iframe here. Okay. Now, if I run the test iframe test case here, you can see we can go to the iframe test URL. Yeah, so we could navigate to the target testing URL in this case, and the test executed successfully. So this is the way we create a new, profile. We try to add some new global variable and how we can use it. So try to explore yourself, and bye for now, and see you in the next lesson.